everyone. Welcome to episode 17 of the Just One End podcast. My name is Elizabeth Zimmerman, but you can call me Liz. I am coming to you from Cochranville, Pennsylvania, where I live with my husband, Greg, our two children, Eric and Tilda, and our dog, Millie. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Algebrina, and there is a group for the podcast on Ravelry, which you can find in the link down in the down bar below with the show notes, which will hopefully be there by the time you watch. I tend to be late on show notes. Today is Friday, February 9th, 2018. It is just about 2 a.m. Because I'm a night owl and that's what I do. I just stay up super late. So it is, like I said, it's Friday. I have taken the day off tomorrow, today, on this upcoming Friday, because I am headed to a knitting retreat this weekend, which I am super excited about. It's the annual retreat that Flying Fibers puts on. I think this is really only their third year. I've been going since the beginning though. So this retreat is what reignited my passion for knitting last year. The previous year before the retreat, I really had done hardly any knitting at all. I think I made a dress for Tilda on vacation. Like I started it and finished it while we were on vacation, and that was pretty much it. Maybe a little bit more than that, but not much. So this retreat it's just 3 days, really like 48 hours of hanging out and knitting, and that's it. You're chatting and, snacking and things like that, but really it's just hanging out and relaxing for the weekend, which I love. It's just so much fun to do. So that's this weekend. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I took the day off so that I wouldn't have to possibly work late and show up late, or at least later than I want to, which is what's happened every year previously. So no work. Definitely not going to be late. I'm just going to relax tomorrow, get Eric on the bus, and then just, take my time and get there early so that I can start off my weekend right. But let me talk to you a little bit about other things that have gone on. Last couple of weeks, obviously I'm a little bit late on recording again. I don't know if I should just say I'm a 3-week podcast and, be a little bit early, because I'm usually right around 2.5-ish weeks between recording. But so the last couple of weeks, the Super Bowl happened. My husband is an Eagles fan, so he was pretty excited about it. My husband's also a very low-key guy, so him being pretty excited is very subtle. But he was very excited to see his team win. I am not an Eagles fan. I'm a Steelers fan, but they don't really have a rivalry. They play each other pretty much every 4 years, and that's about it. So as much as we're a divided household, it doesn't really get that tense. So I was happy to see his team win, and it was a really good game. So that was a lot of fun. The night before that, we went to see a movie as a family. We went to see Paddington 2 in the theaters. It was Tilda's first movie. She'd never been to a movie theater before. And then Eric's, I don't know, maybe 4th or 5th. He hasn't seen that many movies either. So we got to see that. That was a lot of fun. It was really cute. If you like the first Paddington, then, it's very similar in, same genre, obviously, a lot of the same cast. So it was a really cute movie. It was also a nice break from the movie that my kids are watching every day at the moment, which is Captain Underpants, which also is a pretty good movie. I do enjoy it, but seriously, they watch it every day. So it was nice to see a different movie other than that. And we did watch Paddington for the first time, just, the week or so before seeing Paddington 2, because I knew Paddington 2 was in the theaters, and I was like, I really want to get the kids out to see a movie. So I prepared them by watching Paddington first. And then we saw Paddington 2. So anyway, good movie. It was fun to do. Not a lot else. Oh, I did manage to get out of the house this week and work at a Starbucks for a few hours, which does not sound all that exciting. But so I've worked from home for going on 10 years now. It's been a long time. And I used to get out of the house more and work elsewhere back in the day. Not so much recently. Mostly because I'm on conference calls a lot and it's just awkward to be on a conference call in a public place. But in an effort to, more with my putting myself out there and going outside my comfort zone and just trying to engage more in life, I decided that I was going to just block some time and go out in the real world, put on real pants, and just work from a Starbucks, like 10 minutes from my house. So I did that, and it was really nice. It was nice to feel like a part of the human race, to interact with other people. There were a few other people there working too. I didn't feel so weird because they were there pretty much the whole time I was, so I wasn't sure if it was going to feel awkward to hang out there for, I think I was there probably 4 hours. So, yeah, I don't know. It was just a lot of fun. So I've decided I'm going to try and do that once a week, at least going forward, even if it's just for like an hour or two. It really was just reinvigorating to not be in my house the whole time. Because basically I'm at home or I'm driving my kids to daycare or school or something, and that's really it. Bonus track rehearsals in there a little bit, but we've really only had one since Christmas. So, yeah. Anyway, so getting out of the house. That was nice. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot has gone on. Oh, and then tonight, I forgot about this. I don't know why I forgot, because it was only a couple hours ago. I got to join a virtual knit night that Paige the Framer from Frame and Fiber puts on second Thursday of every month. So that was a lot of fun. I wasn't able to join for the past couple of months just because of scheduling, but I got to hop on tonight. And we stayed on for a good long while. Unfortunately, I was working for a lot of it, but since we did stay on long enough, I was able to finish up with work and actually get to do some crafting. So I'll show you what I was working on there. But speaking of Paige the Framer, first of all, I did tell you about her podcast last week. You should still check it out if you haven't yet. Also, she owns the Frame and Fiber shop up in New Jersey. I don't remember the town, but it's along the coast. And every fourth Sunday of the month, she opens up for a couple hours for, a knit afternoon, really, knit night on a Sunday. And I happen to have my Sundays pretty available. So I decided that in February, I am going to road trip it by myself up to New Jersey and just hang out with Paige and her knitty friends at her shop. So, so if you are at all interested in doing a little road trip yourself, or maybe you're local to her, or any interest in coming to hang out, that would be a lot of fun. So it's the February 25th. I think her knitting hours are 2 to 4 on Sundays, but you can check out her website for any more information. Okay, so that is stuff. That's just things that are going on. Let me share with you my finished objects first. I have 4 finished objects. Yeah, 4 of them. And even if I wasn't a couple of days late recording, I'd still have 3 of them to share with you. Yeah, I have gotten a lot done. So this one I'm going to put into the acquisitions category also, because with the Eagles going into the Super Bowl, Lolo Did It was doing a special Fly Eagles Fly colorway. And so I picked up a skein. It happened to arrive, I think, Saturday. So it was here just in time for the Super Bowl. So while I was watching the Super Bowl, I was actually working on these, which is a pair of mittens in the Fly Eagles Fly colorway by Lolo Did It. I held the yarn double, so they're nice and thick. These are for Eric, so they are a bit small for me. So it's a very simple mitten pattern. I'll have to find it. I know it's on the site Afghans for Afghans. They were a charity knit pattern, like you were supposed to, if you knit it, you're supposed to knit a pair to donate. So I may do that at some point too. But you can also find it on Ravelry. I'll link to my project page that has the link. But it's very simple knit pattern construction. There's ribbing in the cuff. I did a 2x2. And then you do a thumb gusset, and then knit for the length, do a decrease, stick on the thumb. So it is really pretty easy. I got these done in like 2 days, I think. So I was working on, well, 2 days worth of knitting. It wasn't actually 2 calendar days, I think. I took a break in between. But anyway, so these are a pretty quick knit. And the colors are fun. Because Eric has decided that at the moment, he's an Eagles fan too, just like his dad. We'll see when next season rolls around and I've got Steelers to root for again. Since they were knocked out pretty early in the playoffs. But not really early. But anyway. So those are for Eric. My second finished object is my stole socks. I don't have them to show you because I'm actually washing them right now in preparation of packing up later tonight. So those are, I'll show you a picture of when I finished them. Now you may notice that these socks don't have a heel. And I was going to put on a heel. I was planning to cut in an afterthought heel. When I finished the toe, I knew I wasn't going to have enough of the red contrast yarn to do the heels. So I was going to have to find a different yarn or use the same yarn as the main body. But then I tried them on and I kind of like the way that they fit without a heel. So I decided they were done. So I knit tube socks. Yeah, and they work. I actually may do that more often if I do long socks because they're, the length of them is enough to really shape them around my heel just fine. They didn't feel really tight. They don't go sliding around everywhere. They were really great. And because I do an asymmetric toe, if they're tube socks, that actually means I can still swap which foot they're on. If you have a heel, then the asymmetric toe means that it's, instead of a rounded or square toe, it kind of slopes like this and it fits one foot and not the other because of the way that my foot is shaped. So normally asymmetric toe and a heel means you've got a right sock and you've got a left sock. But with an asymmetric toe and no heel, then you can just flip them upside down. So, so I made a pair of, I made a tube sock. So that is finished object number 2. Finished object number 3 is a shawl. And you haven't seen this because I cast it on right after I finished my socks, actually. So it was after I'd already recorded last time. And I finished it in a week. It took me 1 week to get this done. So this is, the pattern's called Staiths. The designer is Irina Lawrence, who is the co-owner of Flying Fibers. I picked this up at Maryland Sheep and Wool. I picked it up as a kit. So it's a triangular shawl. It's got some great textured pattern throughout the body of the shawl. And then the edge is just gorgeous. I really love this texture on the edge. And then it called for an elastic bind off, but I actually ran out of yarn I think probably about this far when I did the elastic bind off. So I undid that and I went with the Icelandic bind off, which works just fine. So that is what I was working on. This is knit in their yarn, the Flying Fibers ladies. They do a yarn called Yorkshire Medley. The yarn is from The wool is from England. I believe it's spun and dyed in the US. I think they get it spun at a mill and they dye it themselves. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that's what it is. I don't remember what the colorway is. I always forget, but I'll put it below. But it's this beautiful green that I really like it. I do want to mention, so I was blocking the Saith shawl and I got to utilize a tip that I got from Vogue Knitting Live. So my lecture with Stephen West, I got 2 takeaways from that. First of all was the color opportunity, which I mentioned last time, which I love as a word and as a concept. And secondly, he said that the best way that he's found to block things is to lay it out on a roll of AstroTurf, which is genius because it's just sticky enough to hold everything in place, but not enough to like snag anything. So I picked up a roll of, I think it's like 4 feet by 6 feet, AstroTurf, laid it out on my table, and I was able to stretch out and block my shawl without any pins, and I had plenty of space, and it was super awesome. So if you're looking for an alternative to blocking mats and pins, especially because I think it was only like $15, maybe. How much was it? I'm going to check because I don't want to lie to you. It was $20, which is not bad. If you add up pins and blocking mats and all of that, it's more than that. So $20 for that. And it was great. It was a lot easier too to, make readjustments without having to unpin and repin things. So if you're looking for a nice, easy way to block things, highly recommend AstroTurf. Who knew? So that is my Saith shawl. And like I said, I finished it in a week. And I am not a fast shawl knitter. So I was kind of blown away. Obviously, I put a lot of work into it in that week. I mean, I was knitting on it pretty monogamously. But yeah, a week for a shawl, that's pretty good. So that's finished object number 3. Finished object number 4 is my stitching. Because I finished my 2018 stitch along. Aww. So this is the Fabulous Women in History stitch along from Cloud's Factory. It's got famous women from history, obviously. The way that it worked was you got a panel of 2 women each month released in the pattern. And I've mentioned this before, I started it in March, so I was already behind. I also did not stick with doing a panel every month, so I did most of this in the past couple of months. But I did finish it last week, so I was very excited about that. So I obviously have some pressing to do on it. It's pretty wrinkly. I haven't decided if I'm going to give it a wash or not. I could probably use it, but I don't know that I really notice that it does. But yeah, so that's done. And I am planning to get it framed. I'm going to take it up with me to Paige's shop. And we'll talk about it then. So that is my finished object number 4. All right, so those are my finished objects. I do have just a couple of works in progress that I'm going to share with you. First of all, since I finished my 2017 stitch along, I have started my 2018. So 2018, again, Cloud's Factory, they do a kit that you can buy, which is what I prefer because I don't have the whole setup to do a lot of stitching on my own. Like I don't own floss, I think they call it floss. I don't even know if they call it floss. So you can tell the level of stitcher I am. So I bought the kit. Came with the fabric, came with the DMC threads, came with a needle. It's actually a really nice needle, better than the ones I've been working with. So I like that too. And so I've started working on that. Now, It did not come with a thread organizer this time. Last time it did. And it didn't this time. And they said there would be one printable, but I haven't seen it yet. And I got really impatient with waiting. So I decided to make my own thread holder. And this is my preferred way of organizing thread. I like to be able to see the symbol with the items. I like being able to pull it from the skeins. I don't even know. I like to pull them from the card. I don't like the idea of unwinding a bobbin and cutting off a certain amount and pulling it, and maybe there is a better way to do it. I just don't know what it is, but I really like this way. So what I did is I printed off a page of the first release of the pattern, which had like the being prepared information in it, because you could also buy just the pattern and then, you know, provide your own fabric and threads and whatnot. So they had have a list of the threads that you need. So I printed that out, and then I laminated it because I'm a giant dork and I own a laminator and I love my laminator. It comes in really handy for things like this. So I laminated it, and then I punched holes in the sides just with a hole punch. And then she's released, I don't know if it's one person or they. So the company has released with the pattern the key for each month, but it doesn't have all of the symbols yet. We haven't used all of the colors in the 2 months that we've gotten so far to have the key for all the threads. So what I did is I printed out those also on another page and cut them out into little squares. And I used my sticker maker because yes, I have a sticker maker too. So I took the sticker maker and I added that to the back of these so that I could put them onto the card that I'd already laminated, because I've still got ones to fill out, and I wasn't going to wait to laminate it until I knew what those were. So they're on as stickers to go on top of that laminated card. So yeah, so this is my handy dandy little thread organizer now. I really like it. It's what I spent my lunch break doing today. So so that is the threads for it, and then this is the first part of the first panel of January. I am planning to get January and February done in February. This is one of the projects I'm going to take with me on the retreat. So this is L for leprechaun. The other character or creature, I guess it's the mythical creatures alphabet, is Medusa. So that'll be M. And then for February, I believe N is Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. And there's I think is above L, and I don't know what that is. I can't remember. It's some sort of infernal demon-y kind of thing that I'm not too familiar with. So I'll let you know what it is when I finish, stitching it on and have a name on it that I can refer to. So that is my first work in progress. And then my second work in progress that I'm going to share with you is what I am doing for our knit along. So if you tuned in last week or last episode, you'll have heard me announce that I'm co-hosting a knit along with Sal and Al, the Woolslayers. So Sally and Alan of that podcast, we are co-hosting a knit your blank and sock blank knit along. So the rules are that you just knit from a sock blank, and then it goes through the end of March. You can knit whatever you want. It doesn't have to be socks, just from a sock blank. So you can check out both of our Ravelry pages for our Ravelry groups. For that, we both have a chatter thread, we both have an FO thread, and we're both going to be giving away prizes. So make sure you post in both. But details can be found on there. But this is the sock blank I'm using. I was going to do mine, 2 at a time. So I actually cut my sock blank in half. I just snipped one side and unraveled it to make it 2 pieces. Then I decided against doing it 2 at a time because my pattern actually has row numbers, so I know that they're going to be the same length because I know how many rows it's going to be. So I decided I wasn't going to bother doing 2 at a time, but I already have it in 2 suck blanks anyway. So, but what I cast on, oh, I should tell you, sorry. This is suck blank from Sweet Sparrow yarns that I picked up at her trunk show. I don't know what the colorway is. I realized as I was putting together my Ravelry page for this project that I'm not sure what the color is. I think I took the tag off fairly early on because I think I showed it as an acquisition when I bought it. And I think I lost the tag at that point. So I'm not sure the colorway or the base really, but it's a sock blank. It's lovely. So what I'm knitting though is the Quist mitts. I am doing fingerless mitts instead of a sock from my sock blank. I have gotten to the point where I am doing increases for the thumb. I have decided that instead of stopping here to make him fingerless mitts, I'm actually going to go all the way up. I think I'll still leave it open, but I have fingerless mitts. I have the figure 8 mitts that I wear all the time, which are great when it's a little bit cold. They are not great when it's really, really cold, as it has been this winter. It's been freezing, and they just don't cut it on my fingers. My fingers have just been really cold. But I do love how accessible your fingers can be in fingerless mitts. So I think what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to keep going so that they go, I'll demonstrate, so that they pretty much go up to my fingertips, but they cover them. And then if I want to, I can, roll them down to use them as fingerless mitts if I want to do something else. And then as I'm cold and driving or sitting there at the train station waiting for a train to New York and it's freezing cold and windy, and I can just roll them up to the tip of my fingers and then my fingers are protected. So that's the plan. I think I've got plenty of yarn to do that. And I'll know because my sock blank is in 2 pieces. So I will at least be able to go until this sock blank ends, and hopefully that'll be up to my fingertips. So that is my contribution to our knit along. I'm also entering it into the A Historian Knits knit along because she is doing a Melanie Berg knit along, and this is a Melanie Berg pattern. So that one runs through March 15th, I think. So if you would like to, and you happen to have something that qualifies for both, maybe go check out her Ravelry group and enter that one as well. And I believe that's it for works in progress, at least that are active. I am housing this one in my Dalek bag from Steel City Stitcher. You've seen it before if you've seen this podcast. It's one of my favorites, so it's living in there. I've got a little bit of a tangled mess with my sock blank. I ripped out a good amount, and then Tilda got stuck on the sock blank. She ended up catching it on her foot or something, and she ran across the room. So she unraveled a bit more of the sock blank than I would have liked. Oh well. Knitting with kids, right? So those are my current whips. However, when I go on a knitting retreat, I bring a ton of projects with me because that's all I do. I do just knitting all weekend. So this will be going with me this weekend. My stitching will also be going with me this weekend. And then I'm going to bring a couple of other projects. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be working on all of them or I'm going to finish any of them, but I like to have a lot of options. So in addition to my mitts and my stitching, trying to remember what I was bringing, I'm also going to be bringing my Cozy Memories blanket, which has not seen a lot of love in the last couple of weeks. I haven't made any progress on it since my last podcast, but I also didn't show it on my last podcast, so there are a couple more squares that are new. Did I show it on my last podcast? I don't remember. Anyway, so I will be bringing my Cozy Memories blanket, which is living in my Tanny Casey bag, which has all of my pins on it. I'm also going to be bringing my Zadie sweater, which I haven't done anything else with either since the last podcast. But I'll attempt to do at least some of the sweater surgery. I may do the steek up the back and re-knit the collar. I probably won't tackle the sleeves while I'm there, but I can at least get that much done. And I'm also going to bring, and my husband will be glad to see this one reappear, my double knit scarf that I was working on for him. So this one has not seen the light of day in a while. I was really gung-ho about it for a while. Then it just felt like it really wasn't progressing much. You can see between the last time I tracked it and when I stopped, I really only did about 1 square. So I'm hoping to get this one done. This one I do want to finish on the weekend. So this one will probably be my main focus. And then everything else will be, I'll flit around between them. So that is coming. And this one is in my Fruit Steel City Stitcher bag, which unfortunately lost its title as my lucky bag since I did not put any more work on this scarf after putting it into this bag. That's okay. They're all my lucky bags, though. I love my Steel City Stitcher bags. And then a couple of options for new cast-ons. I haven't figured out if I'm going to bring all of them with me or I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I have 3 options for new cast-ons. Ooh, 4 options. 4 options for new cast-ons. So one of them is what I showed last time as a new acquisition, which is this art yarn, which is, I've forgotten who it's by. Artistic Yarn by Abby. So artisticyarnbyabby.com, which hopefully you can see there. I have a trial training pattern, which is just polka dots, so you get the habit of knitting the right gauge in order to get the pictures to appear, and then a pair of mitts that are little sheep. So I may bring those with me. I also may bring the kit that I have for the 3-color cashmere cowl, which I know I'm way behind the times on because everyone was knitting it last year, but or maybe even before that. But I picked this up at Neighborhood Fiber Company when I did my yarn crawl last summer. So I haven't decided if I want to cast this on now or if I want to make this my Scotland project. I'm leaning toward that actually, but we'll see. Because I do want something that I want to knit throughout Scotland. I know I'm not going to have as much room for packing things, so I can't bring 20 projects with me. So I really want one that's going to last me the whole time. Maybe like a sock also. So I'm leaning toward that for this, and I may have just convinced myself not to bring this one with me to the retreat just by talking through that. But I also have the option of this shawl kit. So this is the Knitflix and Chill kit that I picked up from Beautiful Mess Yarnworks. It is designed by Annie Lupton of Boho Chic Fiber Company, and it's got Jamie's yarn in it, and it's got a little TV progress keeper too. So I picked this up as a kit earlier last year, and haven't done anything with it yet. I'm not sure if I'm shawled out at the moment. I kind of knit a lot of shawls this year, which if you'd asked me before, and I think I even talked about this on the last episode, where I don't particularly love knitting shawls, especially half moon shawls. So I don't typically love the process of knitting shawls, but I realized I wear shawls more than anything else that I knit. Maybe it's just because of the season right now, but I love just throwing one on. This shawl has become my wear around the house shawl. My office is a little bit chilly, so I throw it on and I wear it during my workday. My other shawls that I have, I wear them with my coats when I go outside. And I realize that eventually it's not going to be winter anymore, but I think that a shawl like this is, you know, I think it'll stay in my wardrobe through at least spring and fall. So I may be a shawl knitter. Who knew? So this is a definite possibility. I'm at least going to kick up the yarn so that if I don't start it on the retreat, I'm going to start it soon because I do want to knit it up. It's got some gorgeous yarn in here. Look at these pink speckles. Oh, and the blue. It's just really, really pretty. So I just want to use the yarn. Look at the green speckles. Yeah, I'm just excited to use the yarn. So this one, definite possibility. And then since I finished my stole socks, I don't have any socks on the needles. So I've decided that I may to double down on the sock blank for knit along. I may break into my Andre Sunit's sock blank of the month club ones. This was the What a Fox, which I think was the second one that we got. And it's green, and I like green. So I think I may cast on another pair of socks. Just plain vanilla. I think I'll do them on my 9-inch circulars from a sock blank. So those are what I'm probably going to take with me. And I think that's it as far as projects go. I do have one acquisition to share. I got a little bit more. I got some yarn, but it's probably going to be a future giveaway, so I'm not going to show that. But I did pick up from Amy Beth, the Fat Squirrel Speaks. She put up online some Elizabeth Zimmerman pins, which I have seen since Needles Up at Rhinebeck. All the cool kids have it. and I wanted to get my hands on one. So I did pick up an Elizabeth Zimmerman pin, and she did say that they're not going to be online. I think it was her last online posting of them. So if you were considering getting one, now was the time to get one. And now was the time where I managed to catch that she had them. So, so I got one. So that will be going on my bag very shortly. But I thought it was hilarious because when she sent it to me, she just put a little question mark next to my name because, you know, Elizabeth Zimmerman ordering an Elizabeth Zimmerman pin. It was just kind of funny. But it really makes me wonder how many people who send me things that I purchase on Etsy or, you know, indie dyers through their own websites, you know, how many people actually do wonder about the name as they're addressing it and sending it off. So I thought that was kind of funny. And I think that is it for knitting content. So yeah, it's been busy. And I am really looking forward to seeing what I have to share with you after this weekend. So let me wrap up by doing the winner for the 200 subscriber giveaway. We're actually at, I think I hit 260 something earlier today. It turns out that somebody on a knitting forum website that I can't think of the name right now, I'll put it below, linked to my tips and tricks video about the row counter with the little yarn and using a stitch marker to keep track of your increases. And that generated a lot of traffic. I think that's got almost 3,000 views, which for my tiny little channel is pretty exciting. So if you're a new subscriber, welcome. Thanks for checking out the channel and for checking out that video. And if you're somebody who's watched for a while but hasn't seen that video, I highly recommend it. I mean, I put together the video of the tips and tricks, but I didn't come up with them. They were both tricks that were shown to me. I did happen to combine them for the particular project I was working on. But they're really handy tricks that I use on almost every project. So you should definitely check that out. Right. Subscriber giveaway. So I realized with this giveaway that I made the prize kind of skimpy. Not intentionally, it just didn't occur to me. 50 grams of yarn is not that much yarn. So we didn't get a whole lot of people who entered, which is fine. It just means that the people who entered have a better chance of winning. But I've decided that I'm going to also throw in a pattern on Ravelry. So when the winner contacts me, I'll also be gifting you a pattern of your choice in the $5 to $10 range. So we'll coordinate that when I tell you who the winner is. So there were 16 people who entered. So let's do a random number. Give me a number between 1 and 16. 15. Oh, that's easy to track. I just gotta go one down from the end. Okay, so number 15 is Cats and Yarns. I know that follower. So congratulations to you. If you can send me a message, either Ravelry or Instagram, and let me know what your address is, and then we'll also coordinate a pattern for you. So congratulations. Okay. I think that is everything. Hopefully this is actually a little bit on the shorter side. I know I've been running long a lot lately, so I'm gonna try and keep it down. It doesn't help that my acquisition sections tend to be pretty huge, but I kept it much more manageable this time. Oh, there is one more thing I wanted to tell you. This is completely random and has nothing to do with knitting. However, I am planning to get a fairly drastic haircut next week. So I wanted to warn you now that the next time you see me, I will probably not have nearly as much hair. So I'll show you on my Instagram what I'm looking at getting done. So it's a undercut pixie. I'm not going blonde though. I'd like to go darker with some green or teal and purple in it. So it should be slightly wild and crazy and a lot of fun. The nice thing about working from home is that if I hate it, I don't have to see anybody. So but I am expecting that I will love it, and I am really looking forward to getting it done. But just to give you a heads up so that you're not shocked, that's happening. It's happening next week. I already made an appointment. All right, that really is it this time. Thank you for tuning in. I will plan to gather some footage this weekend at the retreat. Hopefully put together maybe a little vlog, either to post in between or at the end of my next episode. And hopefully record again in 2 weeks. That 2 weeks I think actually is... Yeah, 2 weeks is just before I'm planning to go up to New Jersey too. So maybe I'll grab some footage when I'm hanging out with Paige. So anyway, thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! However, there is a stink bug crawling on my microphone. It is creeping me out. Oh, and he's got fiber all over his butt. Bye. Bye.